I've spent years studying languages and I'm often asked, I can only study every other day or a few times a week. How can I be effective? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make the most of intermittent study, learn fast, and never forget anything. You know how it is. Life gets busy. There are days you simply cannot sit down and study like you planned. The key to getting ahead in these situations is to be smart about how you study and to do the right things even on the days you don't feel like it. So let's get started. Point 1. Spaced repetition and memory anchors. Spaced repetition is an evidence-based learning method used by SuperMemo and other popular language apps like Quizlet or Memrise. You enter new words, and the app will automatically space out your reviews, making sure you see the word again just before you're about to forget it. Even if you study just once every few days, the system will resurface those words at the right intervals to strengthen your memory. But we want to take this one step further. As you add new words, try to connect them to vivid mental images or personal experiences. When you have an anchor, it can help the words stick in your long-term memory, even if you don't review it every day. For example, instead of memorizing envy, imagine a friend who always seems to be luckier than you. Then say, I'm envious of him because he's always so lucky. As you repeat this sentence, you're connecting the word envy to a concrete situation with a memorable image. Tip 2. Micro-learning sessions. Instead of planning 3-hour language marathons, organize short 10 to 15-minute sessions throughout the day. Study during your breaks at work or school, while commuting, or while waiting for an appointment. If you only have 10 minutes, set a timer and try to memorize as many words or practice as much vocabulary as possible. This way, your intermittent study becomes frequent microcontacts with the language rather than sporadic cramming. For example, when you wake up in the morning, browse news headlines on a language learning website. In the evening, listen to a podcast while doing the dishes. This way, you're constantly feeding your brain small bits of language which adds up over time. Tip 3. Interleaving practice. Don't just study vocabulary or grammar in isolation. Interleave your practice. Mix reading, listening, speaking, and writing during each study session. This keeps your brain engaged and builds stronger long-term retention. For example, first read a short story in English. Then summarize it aloud to practice your speaking skills. Watch a 1-minute video, then write down 3 new expressions you'd like to use. Or read a dialogue, then role-play it with a friend or family member. By mixing it up, you avoid boredom and solidify your learning. Tip 4. Leverage passive exposure. On the days you don't study, keep English in your environment. This way, even if you're not actively learning, you're still making progress. There are several ways to do this. Change your phone's language setting. Follow English YouTube channels or Instagram Reels. Listen to English music, podcasts, or audiobooks while doing chores. Watch a movie or TV show in English with subtitles. All of these expose you to real-world English without requiring much effort, and it all adds up over time. Tip 5. Active recall on intermittent days. When you return to study after a gap, don't just learn something new. Test yourself on what you learned before. This helps reactivate your memory and fill in any gaps from when you were away. It doesn't have to be difficult. For example, if you were learning vocabulary, write a journal entry using last week's words. If you watched a video the previous week, retell the story in English. If you followed along with a song, sing it without looking at the lyrics. By regularly testing yourself, you'll strengthen your ability to remember even after interruptions. Tip 6. Conversation bursts. Even a regular conversation practice can accelerate your fluency. If you can only commit to practicing once a week, that's better than nothing. Find a language partner, tutor, or use an app like HelloTalk or Verbling to practice speaking English regularly. If daily practice isn't possible, plan English days where you speak, text, or even think in English. These bursts of intense practice can help you retain what you've learned and prevent it from slipping away. Tip 7. Gamify and motivate. Turn your learning into a game. Set daily challenges like learn 10 new words and use them in 3 different sentences. Or summarize one TED Talk in 5 sentences. This gamification makes intermittent learning more exciting and sticky. Here's why this works. Humans are naturally inclined to play games. They're fun and rewarding. When you combine learning with game-like elements, it activates your brain's pleasure center and reinforces your memory. Think about a language exchange partner who sends you funny memes in English. The humor sticks in your memory long after the initial learning. That's the power of gamification. Alright, Let's summarize the 7 tips. If your schedule is irregular, focus on retention strategies like spaced repetition, active recall, and interleaving rather than just raw volume. Supplement your study sessions with passive exposure to English, such as music or TV shows. Most importantly, emphasize high-value activities like speaking, summarizing, and active usage even on days you can't formally study. Consistency is ideal, but life happens. So build a system that accounts for interruptions and still makes progress towards fluency. Now I have a question for you. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to sticking to an English learning routine? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more videos that help you learn English faster, study smarter, and reach fluency faster. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye.